All right. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another broadcast of Let's Talk Real Life with, I'm going to say, teacher, Miss Teacher Nada Manning, because I want to give her the utmost respect. I do believe teacher is one of those fivefold ministries, if you will. Um, hey, I don't know the caliber of those positions, but I know that teacher is the one I definitely need because I need my learning curve has to be slowed way down for me to learn things. And she takes the spiritual matters and interpret those things to life. But this is WBISLP 106.9, ladies and gentlemen. And if you're watching this on Facebook, YouTube, on the App Store in our app, then thank you very much. Thank you so much. And perhaps you catching us Facebook Live, you can leave comments. We can receive those at any time. All right, ladies and gentlemen, there is another way, though, that you can hear the show whenever it's live and being broadcasted. You can hear the whole station at
Mm-hmm.
www.awesomeradio.org.
Mm-hmm.
www.wbisawesome, that's awesome spelled AWESOME, radio.org. All right, without further delay, ladies and gentlemen, Miss Nada Manning.
Hello, everyone. It's my pleasure to speak with you one more time as we continue with our session on Father's Day from last week. I want to um, bring in some more pointers on the aspect of fathers and to let you know how much you are cared about, how much you are loved, and I might be a little bit more rough this time. I was told last time I was kind of soft with the fathers, and I said, okay, we're going to fix that.
Yeah.
Not that I am going to be hard, but I wanted to let you all know in the first session that fathers are cared for. I didn't want to come off on you being hard and rough right from the beginning. It's like the example that I had given in the past. I wanted to let you know that you have done some positive things, many of you. Not all of you are on the rough side of the mountain, so to speak. Let me clear that up. We all, mothers and fathers, have different segments, different sides of a mountain. Some of us are in the valley longer than others. We're talking moms and dads now. But I wanted you all to know last time that you all are special and that you are cared for. I know that society kind of gives you, some of you, a rough time, especially when it comes to the legalities of fatherhood and your responsibilities. That's something that I have no control over. That's the legal side of the house, and that's something that you fathers should be. And if you're not, I encourage you to be prayerful about that because prayer makes a difference in our lives, moms and dads and children, all of us. So I just wanted you to know last time that um, there are some things that I want to bring to your attention that you might not like, you might not want to hear, but we're talking real life here. This is the real life show. Let's talk real life. And the real thing is, the whole scheme of things is, it is what it is. And those things are kind of rough. Those things are not pleasant for us. But those of us who want to lift your spirits and encourage you, and I'm one of those, I want to make you to feel better about being a father. And I don't want you to be a deadbeat dad. That's not a good thing to be. That should not be in anybody's vocabulary. And if you are called that, you have an option to get out of that syndrome. Don't be a deadbeat dad. Okay? You have so many opportunities out there. And like I said, last week there were various kinds of fathers that I mentioned, uncles, brothers. There are different roles of being a father. And someone had mentioned last week, well, what about those of us who don't have a father at all? Or you don't know about that father? Again, you can fill in the gap. You have your coaches out there in the school system. You have some teachers, which you have to be mindful of. And this is just a repeat of what I had said last week. There are different positions of being in the father role without being the actual biological father. And we grown-ups, and I'm one of them, part of what I'm doing with this show, as we're talking about fathers, last time was mothers, and the overall life of the show is to encourage you, to lift you up, to let you know that it's not over. It's not over at all. There, as long as you have breath in your body, you have an opportunity to do better for yourself. And you can't do it by yourself. Understand this. Don't go around with that mindset, I don't need nobody. I can do this all on my own. I don't need all that. Yes, you do. You probably need that and some. That's why you have the mindset that you have. And that's why you're saying what you're saying about you don't need anybody. Everybody needs somebody. We all, no matter how big and bad we think we are, how rough and tough we think we all need somebody at some point. Now, some of us are more needy than others, and it's okay. Dads, fathers, it's okay. You're still human. You don't have it all. Nobody has it all. So be ready to accept the help. Open your mouth. Like I said last week, go to someone. Find yourself a go-to person. Someone you can trust, someone you can believe in, someone that can lift your spirits. Dads, you are really going through some things. And I have seen that in my years of being a mother. Fathers really catch it. But it don't have to be a life-threatening thing. Some of you feel like it's the end of the world. Some of you, I understand that. Some of you are in a position where you're not allowed to see your children. Well, I'm here to tell you, if you pray about that thing, listen to me good. If you pray about that thing, the Lord will make a way for you to see your children. And when you do see them, you make sure you got your game straight. Don't go in there half-stepping. Don't go in there with your pants hanging down. Stand up, be a man, look like you are a responsible, loving person. Let that child see somebody they can look up to. Behave when you go around the child, irregardless of what your relationship is with that mother. You be you, and that is you being a dad. And I said the same thing to the moms last month. Be a mother. Be a mom. A mom is a caring person, and a dad is a caring person. Again, there's a difference in a dad and a father. Like I said last month, there's a difference in a mom and a mother. Dads, there's a lot of you out there that you are fathering these children, but you're not taking care of your responsibility. That's not a good thing. What does that say about you? And whatever female that you run into after that baby is born, after you leave that mama, are you going to change your ways? I doubt it. Why? Because it's in your nature to behave the way you are behaving with that mom. First, you need to have a relationship with that baby's mother, even if you're not living with her. Have a good relationship. Be carnal, be caring, so that the children can respect both of you. You and that mom supposed to be adult enough to care about those children or that child, so that they can see, hey, my mom and dad they're getting together. They or not, if you're not getting together, but at least you're getting along. Now, don't misunderstand what I'm saying to you. I'm not saying if you don't get along with that mother that you're supposed to force yourself to try to get. What I'm saying is be civil. Be civil. We're talking, let's talk real life. I'm giving you real facts from my own experiences, from what I have seen and what I have experienced. We're talking, let's talk real life show. And I want you to understand that these are some of the things that the father should be considering. These are some of the things that you want to think about as you're fathering or getting ready to father these children. They're the ones that's the innocent ones. They're the ones that's going to suffer the consequences. And you're going to suffer too. But they're suffering, I think they're suffering more than you because they have to grow up in that type of environment. You want to make that environment pleasing. So there are various kinds of fathers. So now I want to talk to you more about, like I said a few minutes ago, know your potential. Know your potential as a father. Know your effectiveness. You can be very, very, very effective. Dads, if you get it together. First, you start off with the mind. Stay focused on what you're supposed to do. And if you don't know, then you go to somebody that's responsible, not one of your buddies that's doing worse than you. That's not any help. Don't run to them. I encourage you to go to a more mature father. Don't have to be anybody in the family. It could be someone you know. You have observed yourself over your lifetime or over the past several months or a few years. And you see, you go to the school system, you can see most of the time, I have to admit, I guess most of the time it's the mothers that's with the children when they're going to school and picking them up. But there are a few dads, I've seen them. There are a few dads out there that are appearing to me to be responsible enough to bring the child to school and to pick them up or what have you. That means a lot to that child. That means a lot. You never know until the child gets a little older and you observe if you stick around long enough, Dad. Stick around, stay in their life, get along. Get along with the mom, get along with the children. Don't be ashamed to explain yourself where they're going to ask you, well, how come I haven't seen you in about 2 months or whatever they ask you. Don't blow them off. Give them a good answer. Even if it's just say, I'm going to do better. But mean it. Don't just say it. And then when you separate, they're going to be wanting to know, well, when am I going to see you again? Be honest. And make a good faith effort to get with them again. Sometimes you might be far away and you can't get to them. Well, pick up the phone. You can still communicate. The mail is acting funny. The U.S. mail is acting funny because I would say you can write letters, but I guess the quickest and the safest way, assuring way, is to just send a text message. Most of the children today, I believe, have some type of phone if they're old enough. So, there's a means of communicating, and that's what I encourage you to do. Communicate. Don't just leave them hanging like that. Don't let them grow up and they turn 15, 16-year-old and here you come. Right. Where you been for the past 15 years, Dad? Pop? Or whatever your first name is. Some of them so upset with you, they don't even call you Dad. You're not my dad. They call you by your first name, whatever that is. And they put emphasis on that first name. Where you been for the past 15 years? Tyrone. Tyrone is Dad, but to them, you Tyrone. Well, you want to fix that. And explain yourself. Mean what you say and say what you mean. Because these children are going to grow up and most likely they're going to have the same behavior that they were brought up in. Not all the time, but many times they do the same thing the way they were brought up in. Their dad didn't care for them, so they're not going to care for their children. Well, my thing is, you just digging yourself deeper in a hole because you have to live with yourself. You do have a conscience, and it will beat you down eventually. How do I know that? Because God says in his word that every knee shall bow. Whoever you are, wherever you are, you're going to reap the benefits or you're going to reap the consequences. It's up to you. So I encourage you all, like I said, you know your potential. You can do it. You've ran around with somebody or seen somebody somewhere in your life where you admired them from a distance. Like I said, it could have been one of your teachers. It's all about how you carry yourself. It's not about what all you say. Talk is cheap. You don't need to do a whole lot of talking. Just show what you can do. Actions speak louder than words. Dads. Now you want to talk, but you're supposed to do more than you're talking. That's why I say what you mean and mean what you say. Don't just talk to hear yourself talking. If you know you're not going to do a thing, then don't tell that child. Whatever you do, don't lie to the child, because that's going to hurt them. That's a mark that matters, and it's going to stick with that child. Probably right on into adulthood, probably to the day they pass. They're going to remember it. So you need to be careful. I encourage you to be careful. Dads, you are so, so important. I can't say that enough. You really are. And that, yes, there are dads out there that's playing the mother and the father, just like there are moms out there playing mother and father. So dads, to you that are playing the mom role, yes, it's tough, but you can do it. You have to trust and believe. Read your word. Find scriptures to read to help lift your spirits. Sometimes that's better than going to a person. Sometimes, not all the time. Don't get what I'm saying twisted. Not all the time, but some of the time. You choose which way is best for you at whatever particular situation you're in. Amen. We're talking real life. I'm your host, Nada Manning, and we're talking real life issues. Let's talk real life. And I am keeping it just as real as I can. I really am. I just want you dads to know that it's critical for you. Anyway, I'm just saying. So, your effectiveness. I had 3 things that I had wanted to cover. One was the various kinds of fathers that I talked about last week, which is the aunts and not the aunts, but the uncles and the nephews and the cousins and your friends, your neighbor. Males can be role models. Back in my day, it was a village that raised a child. And the word of God says that today it takes a village. Because why? Mom and dad can't be everywhere all the time. But in today's time, I don't see too much of that village, because everybody seems to have their own circle of family. Anything that's not in that circle of family, it doesn't matter. I don't agree with that, but that's the way it seems. That's the society we live in today. We're supposed to be able to see our children outside playing, which that seems to be obsolete also, because they're all in the house on what? On their computers, on their laptops, on their phones, and using these thumbs. They don't get outside like it was back in the day. That's the times that we're living in. So as far as being watchful, when they're outside playing, they don't be out there playing. They're in the house. And of course, when they're in the house, you don't know what they're doing, neighbor, because you're in your house and they're in theirs. But it can be remedied. We are our brother's keeper. Yes, we are. And there are ways of getting around just because they're not outside playing. There are still ways of getting around. You can always call them. You can always go knock on the door. Hey, how you all doing? You know, mom and dad might say, hey, neighbor down the street, can you keep an eye out on the children, so on and so on. Then you can call them on the phone or go knock on there and look at them and make sure they're okay. But that's not the case today. That's something that's not done. So you are needed and you are loved, dads. And I just want you to know that being a deadbeat dad is not in the equation. That is not something that needs to be, that's something that needs to be washed, period. Let's not have that anymore. No more deadbeat dads. This is Father's Day coming up. You want to be recognized. You want to be cared for. You want to be pampered. You're human just like the mothers are. But as you all probably know, that's one of the reasons why moms get more attention on Mother's Day than dads do on Father's Day. I even noticed that with the greeting cards. In comparison, on a percentage, on a scale of 1 to 10, mothers have 10 or more. Dads might have 3 or 4 types of greeting cards. Why is that? Why can't the dads have just as many greeting card options as the mothers do? Because a large percentage of the dads are incarcerated. Hello. For whatever reason. And therefore, you're not involved with the children. You're not involved with raising the children. You're not helping the mother out. For whatever reason. If you haven't been incarcerated, don't go there. Life outside of those walls is much better. Whatever it is that took you there, or you're thinking about doing something that's going to take you there, don't. Don't do it. Don't you do it. You are worth more to anybody and everybody outside of those walls. You're limited when you're in there. One thing, you can't see your children. That's not a good thing. You're going to have your child to grow up knowing that you've been locked up for X amount of years. They 2, 3 years old, and they don't get to see you no more until they, again, I keep using 15. They about 15, 14, 15, 16 years old in high school. Well, where you been, Dad? Well, then you're holding your head down. Dad got himself in a little trouble, and things didn't work out too well, and I've just been put away in jail, and things just haven't been the way I had hoped. Those years, Dad, you're not going to get them back with that child. So it's in your best interest, if you're just getting out, to keep that in mind and spend the rest of your life helping with that child who's going to be an adult soon, but there's still ways for you to help them out. A dad is always needed. Always. I'm 70 years old. I can still use a father right today. You never get too old for your dad, because they know some stuff. They know some stuff, and it's they know some things that can help you out in some of the challenges that you're facing. They know some things. So you're never too old to have a dad in your life. And once dad is gone, then hopefully you've learned enough to be able to be responsible enough to carry on some things. And it goes on and on and on. It don't stop. It goes on. You want to be able to handle it, Dad. You want to be able to handle it. So stop. And another thing. Okay, you're not getting along with the baby's mama. Okay. You have met someone else. Okay. That has nothing to do with that child that you gave birth to, that you and that woman gave birth to, or that wife, or the mother. Whoever else you seeing out there, you still don't stop spending time with that child or those children that you already had. And whatever you do, don't go out there and have some more, and don't take care of them either. All you're doing is digging yourself deeper and deeper. One day, you're going to need somebody to help you. One day, you're going to wish you had a good relationship with some of them children. All of them, actually. You don't know what's going to happen to you in the future. The way you doing, I call it disrespect. I call it disrespect. And I'm not saying it's all your fault because some of these women out here are just as bad. If you're not going to take care of your children, don't have them. It's a full-time responsibility. It's a lifetime responsibility. Do your job. Be responsible. You got yourself another girl, another woman out there. Okay. At some point, I hope and pray that you're going to stop having so many girls and just get one and get somewhere and sit down. Zip it. How about that? And have it just for the one you with. How about that? I'm talking real life here. The raw truth. Amen. Coach, are you there? Hello. I think he just left me because I'm talking too hard to some of these dads, but I'm talking real life, folks. I'm talking real life. And I'm just keeping it real. Stop hurting these women. And you women, you stop acting up and showing out with these men. You know how vulnerable they are. Stop doing it. Stop tempting them. You don't want what you're going to get, then stop inviting it.
Oh, Lord. You digging in. I backed up a little bit because I'm like, she on a roll. And that's in there. I don't know what to say. Happy Father's Day, gentlemen, men of valor, honorable. No, I'm just picking on you. Hey, you digging in. I'm like I'm talking on the mic and we're freestyling. But yeah, you putting it down. It's good information. That last thing you just said, what were you saying now? Like the guys teasing the girls or something? Is that what you were saying?
I was saying about having these babies and not being responsible when you have them. I was saying if you're not going to be responsible, stop going around with all these girls having all these babies. And these girls stop tempting these men because you know how vulnerable they are.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
That's not family planning. That's sex.
Whatever it is, you're bringing a child in the world.
Yeah, because so if you going around and then all of a sudden a baby pops up, that wasn't family planning. That was just, I guess if you're married, it might be making love, but if you're not, then that's sex. And so you'd have to say, stop going around having this freestyle fornication because you're not doing it. If you could say there's a right way to do it, you're not protecting. You're not. What should I say? You're not using any type of way to prevent a child from coming into this world because you're having recreational sex. That's your objective. And so I'm not saying what you should say. I would just say the interpretation for me is if you are out running a rampant, having sex, and children are popping up, then your Playboy ways is the reason why you're having these children.
And boy is a key word because a man is going to be responsible when they have these children.
Mm-hmm.
Playboy. Boy. That's what boys do. They go around and have the sex and the baby pop up and it's oh well. And then some of them they seem to have fun now. They get off on that. Oh yeah, man, dude, I did so and so. That is nothing to be bragging about. Because that baby is the one that's gonna come in this world. And then right.
I have never been around. I've been around a lot of guys. I can't recall anybody, even the players, bragging about the amount of children they have. I did recall years ago when I met a fellow citizen in the town I was born in. I did ask him about how many children he had, and he said he was up to 9. And Now he wasn't married. He didn't marry that I know of, but he didn't feel bad about it. He felt like he had 9 children, and he wasn't really boasting about it. But it seemed to me it didn't really turn him off. And I do think, excuse me, not what I think. I know there are people built like that to have these multiple children. Um, you can search way back in history from the continent of Africa how we have had a lot of children, and they have a lot of wives over there, but that's not here. Lastly, in the same note, there are probably more women that I know that we think of that are built to have a lot of children. I think you said how many family members do you have? Children, siblings?
There was 14 of us.
Yeah. So I think that there are people
But
that
that wasn't all by one woman. That I'm saying there's some stepchildren in there.
oh yeah, but by one woman, I think there's some people built to have, their
Yeah.
bodies are designed to have children that way. And so even deeper than that is the relationship issues that's jacked up, our lifestyles that's jacked up. Because the
Right.
guys that are set up, I read a Facebook fact the other day that says a man that can produce enough sperm over a 2-week period of time to impregnate every woman on Earth. So there's billions of sperm. So I think a man can be built to do it. It's just having the way the traditional rules are, the indoctrination of what a man is, the social role of what a man is in society nowadays is really like tough to pick up because you have to add what society says a man is nowadays in this age and time to who your personality is and what God says you ought to be. So that's 3: social role, your personal role, and then your spiritual personality. That's 3 things a man has to apply himself to standards to live today. And that's quite a bit. I'm not saying a man can't do it, but depends on his upbringing in a lot of ways. But the expectations of a man has always said is more than the expectations of a woman. I ain't gonna get into an argument about that, but some people can spin it just right and say women are asking a man to bring everything to the table so they can just kind of sit back and catch up and make all the decisions so they can look like they're in charge, and still bring the man to the table. So there's a lot going on. I ain't gonna open that can of worms.
And I do understand what you're saying, and I'm not going to disagree with what you're saying. What I will say is society has it from way back when that if you're going to have the woman and the man, the man, we're talking about social, I guess, social aspects.
Mm-hmm.
A woman can be out there doing whatever she's doing, and she's called a slut.
Yep.
A man go out there and do the same thing, running around with this and that and other women, come home and put on a suit. He's Mr. So-and-so and so.
Yep.
He does not lose his respect the way the woman does.
Mm-hmm.
Now that right there, I believe, is a fact.
Yeah,
It's always been.
The drawback with that is now they're saying it's the reason that women cheat and the reason that men cheat. So this is just a non-factor in the conversation in case you guys are listening, just conversation. But they're saying the guys cheat with no feelings and no investments, just whatever, flesh tone. And that's not all the guys. Some guys are probably committed to another woman and they're cheating and they're saying they think they love that person. But then they're also saying a woman cheats, but she's cheating with emotions. She's cheating for vindictive reasons. She's cheating to disenfranchise the person that she's with. And so they're saying that that's worse.
Right.
First of all, cheating is cheating right from the very start. Now,
Right.
behind that, if a guy's cheating just for recreational flesh satisfactory, and he gonna go home and love his wife, and ain't even gonna think about that side chick, then I can see that. And I can also see a woman saying, I'm not feeling loved in my house, and my man, husband, is not attracted to me anymore. So I'm gonna go find somebody who is. So I think both positions are bad. Okay, I'm not gonna give one. I'm like, well, the woman is worse, or the man is worse. Both of them are bad.
Wrong is wrong.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just like a lie. A lie is a lie. Black or white, it's still a lie.
So to your
Big
point,
or small. Hmm?
right? So to your point, when the children show up, they ain't had nothing to do with all that.
Exactly. But they're the one that's suffering because of the lack of attention, which goes back to the meat of the conversation, the meat of the show about dads, because I already lit into the mothers last month. So I'm saying I'm going back to the dads, and I'm saying, Dad, I understand we all have feelings, we all have desires, we all want to be loved, we all want to be hugged, all that. That's human. It's called humanism. We all desire that at some point. Now, some of us desire it more than others, and some of us can't control it like some others. But my point is the consequences that at the end of the day, if you're fortunate enough not to have the children after all of this carrying on and carrying to it, then that's good. But you still got to live with yourself. The children, if there are not any, you still got to live with yourself. And you go to sleep at night. Well, like Coach just said, some folks can just go to bed and go to sleep like ain't nothing happened. Somebody got hurt though. And we don't want to go around hurting people. We don't want to go around disappointing people, deliberately disappointing them. That is not good. And God is not pleased with that. And if you want to have any success in life, I'm here to tell you now, it's all about how you treat others. Others mean children too. Others meaning that child's parent, whether you're the mother or the father, is how you treat them. And you can love from a distance. You don't have to be in their face all the time. You don't have to be in their face all the time. But be civil. Be an adult about it. My whole point is, as fathers, I would like to think some of what I'm saying to you makes a little bit of sense, just a little bit, a little teeny weeny bit, enough for you to let it resonate in your mind. You know what? That woman might have said something that made some kind of sense right there. I think that just might. I'm gonna have to think about that. I'm gonna have to try that. Try it a little bit, step by step. Now, don't go leaping into it. It's a process, a little bit at a time, day by day. Okay? Yeah, you're not expected to change overnight, but try a little bit at a time. Don't just, I keep using that word, blowing it off, because that seems to stick in my brain. How we do sometimes. We just blow stuff off. Oh, it's important. So, saying all that to say, your effectiveness as a father is critical. And I think we have, 10 minutes left? And I would like to think that you all, well, I want to give you another example. As a father. And I may have said a little bit of this the other last week. Okay, how can I say this? You want to be all in when you get around the child, whether you're living with them or not. You want to be all in. All in meaning, like I said last week, the first day of school, it's all right for you to take the child to school. It's okay for you to take the child to school the first day or pick them up from school. Or maybe mom had something that she had to do, the mother had something to do, and you are available to go do it. Make yourself available every now and then. Sacrifice. That's a big word in parenting as dads. We all got, well, I won't say we all, but many of us have jobs. And there are such things as taking a day off or taking an hour off or take a lunch break or an extended lunch break. Sacrifice. Let the child see and know that you care about them. To me, that's being responsible also, is sacrificing. And more importantly, once you have the child, as many of you know, well, you're going to hear it right now. Your life is not your own when you want to be a good parent. I didn't say perfect parent. I said a good parent. I said to the mothers last month, there is no role, no book, no nothing written where you have to be or will be a perfect parent. But I'm saying there is no one way, but there are many ways, a million ways that you can be a good one. That goes for dads too, not just the moms. I didn't say perfect, because nobody is a perfect parent. Nobody is a perfect person. But there are many ways to be a good dad. I didn't say perfect. You're not going to get it right all the time, but you can be a good one. Like I just said, it's the simpler things, like sacrificing your time. If you got some time to take off work, take a day off, take a half a day off. And I'm going to go spend time with my child or my children. I'm going to take them to the park, or I'm going to go bike riding with them. I'm going to go to their game. It means a lot. Those marks matter. They really do. And that's something that I want you to think about. Sacrifice. Fix a meal for them if you cook, if you're one of those men that can cook. Have a cookout. Maybe it just can be you and the child or you and the children. Mom don't want to be around? Okay, that's fine. Your focus is on being a good dad. And I tell you right now, those things will make a difference in that child's life. Now, I have to admit, there are some children that are more clingy than others. Clingy meaning they want more attention than others. They want you to be around all the time. There are some children like that. But you have to explain to them, whatever their name is, Dad got to do so and so and such and such. Take time and tell them. Tell them why you can't do it. And then give them another scenario like, okay, well, what if we do so and so? What if we go camping or something like that on such and such a date? Give them something to hope for and don't disappoint them over and over and over again. That's not a good thing either. Now, granted, there are some moms out there, some mothers that disappoint their children too. Now, I don't know if you're going to agree with this or not, but I think that dads disappoint them more. Now, I could be wrong, but I think dads disappoint the children more than the moms do. That's my thought. Nobody said I was right. I'm talking real life. This is Let's Talk Real Life here. I'm your host, Nada Manning. And I hope that you're listening to some of the things that I'm saying to you and that it is resonating in your mind and in your hearts. Coach, you ready to say something?
Yeah, I was like, she just said something. I gotta figure out what you just said to see if I heard. Did you say that fathers offend their children more than mothers do?
I didn't say offend. I said disappoint.
Disappoint. I ain't gonna argue that point because ain't no way in the world you can figure that out. How would you conclude that?
I said that's my opinion
I know,
from
right?
my own experiences, from
Yeah.
what I have seen in life.
The fathers
They seem
disappoint.
they have a and I say that too because if you notice the scenario, let's
Mm.
look at the percentage here. We're talking real life. The percentage is when you look around at the school system and the families and what have you, who's around those children more than anything? Usually it's the mother.
Mm.
Many times dad is not around. And I'm not saying whatever reason that he's not around, I don't know. I'm just looking at the picture here. I'm not looking all into the weeds. I'm looking at the big picture, and the big picture is showing me that these children are in here, and this is mom. If it's not mom, it's grandmom. Where's granddad and where's dad?
Yeah, I can say if you feel like women spend more time with the children than men do. And so if that's the case, that could lead to a lot of differences.
Yeah,
Um, but I don't know about whether the kid is disappointed because the dad is not, in those places. But it could be. So I can't,
it depends.
but I was asking a question and you answered it. That's how you came to that conclusion. Gotcha. I'm with you. You answered my question.
I did.
Yeah, because I say, how could you conclude that fathers disappoint children more than, and you told me that because you see that women spend more time with a child
Right,
than the men do. So if that's the case, you're gonna you're gonna get, a whole lot of things going for the women, and you're gonna get a whole lot for the guys too, because and who's to say that that's by choice?
right.
Because a woman can disenfranchise a man
That's right.
and just hog up.
And that's why I say it depends.
Yeah, I remember. I'll say this if you allow me to have 1 minute. I remember my ex went out of the country and left my son with me. So before that, he was at that age where he called your name all the time. He called her all day long, mom, mom, mom. So it was about 2.5, 3 years old or something. So I kind of used to get jealous because why he running to her all the time? Why he calling her? Boy, when she left and went out the country, that boy called my name so many times. I said, Lord, boy, you got to cut that out. I couldn't handle it. He
Oh,
called my name 1,000 times a day. Dad, dad, daddy, dad, daddy, daddy. I got a taste of how it felt. And I was not used to hearing that boy
mm-hmm.
call my name that many times. Even though I was around him all the time, I said my family, it was equal.
Right,
Because I took my son to all the parks and recreation. I did all that. So she didn't spend more time than me with
right,
him. We might have been equal.
right. And
So,
that's where it should be.
yeah,
Yeah,
but I can't assume that everybody's, because some people are separate,
right.
different lifestyles. I say it that way.
Exactly. And that's why I say it depends. And we're down to 1 minute, I believe. Do
Yeah,
we have?
probably about, I think we started a minute late. So go ahead and take a couple of more minutes, make sure we're over that 50 mark.
Okay. So saying all of that, and I appreciate your input, Coach, because you are giving a different perspective as a dad, and that's a good thing. Um, and it's good to hear that you are among others. I won't put a percentage on that, where actually spent the time with the child. You are a fine example of for other young men to see what it's supposed to be like in being a responsible dad. And that's why you, as a coach, you have these young men that you, at one point, that you were uh, around, uh, influencing them. That's a good word to use. Influences. Hello. We have positive influences and we have negative ones. And those that are out there doing who knows what. And then you have this one or two that come along that seem to be walking the straight and narrow. Well, guess who get picked on? the ones that's the straight and narrow. And if they're not strong enough here from their dad's input in their mind to resist all of that, then they get sucked in with the other ones, so-called gangs today. They were walking straight and narrow, but that didn't last long because they didn't want to get bullied and picked on anymore. They talked about and isolated. Young folks don't like to be isolated. So that's where dads come in. That's why I say it's so critical for dads. Dads, you just don't know. You just have not. You really need to stay tuned to what it is. Get around some of those fathers like Coach here. Get around fathers that can tell you some things about being a father and participating in the child's life, because it's critical. It's very important. And on that note, I think I have run out of time. And as usual, I want to play and know that, yes, life knocks hard. It really does. Life can knock you down. Life can knock you off your feet. And some of us don't know how to get up. We need to get pulled up. Somebody need to come along and stick their hand out and say, here, take my hand. But with the help of the Lord, that person can come along. And also, if that person don't come along, the Lord is right there for you. I'm a living witness. To pick your hand up and just get up on your feet and go for it. So, Father God, we are closing this hour of encouraging these fathers. And it is my prayer, Lord, that they don't continue, if they are, being resentful, but to turn their resentment into prayer so that they can know that you are in control and that you can really pull them out, whatever valley that they're in, Lord. Touch these men, encourage them, those that are incarcerated. Help them, Lord, to think about how they are and how they want to get their lives together to help their children if they have some out there. It is my prayer, Lord, in Jesus' name, that you will be with these dads, put your arms around them and let them know that they are loved, that regardless of what the situation is, somebody cares. Somebody cares. And let us, Lord, who do really care, show them that we care. In Jesus' name, it is my prayer. Amen.